The war had burned for 50 years. The stars around Earth were red with wreckage. Human fleets drifted in silence, torn apart by fire. Every command ship was gone. Only broken fighters and dying signals filled the void. Commander Ethan Cole stood on the cracked deck of the carrier Resolute. The ship was bleeding power. Hull plates peeled like skin. He could feel the vibration of dying engines under his boots. The crew worked with hollow eyes, no words left to say. They had fought too long. Through the main screen, Ethan saw the Vorn fleet move like a storm. Dark machines, endless in number, with no faces and no sound. Their ships had no heat, no light. They were like ghosts of metal. The humans had tried everything. Nothing stopped them. A voice came from behind. "Commander, shields are gone. We can't hold them back." Ethan didn't answer. He watched a human cruiser explode in silence. A flash. Then nothing but debris spinning into the dark. He turned. "Tell all ships to fall back toward Earth. Anyone still breathing, move now." The bridge crew obeyed without question. They had no hope left, only orders. The comms officer shouted, "We're getting a signal, sir." Ethan frowned. "From who?" "Unknown source, ancient frequency. It's broadcasting on every channel." The sound hit the speakers like a heartbeat. Static. Then a voice. A girl's voice. Young, steady, strange. "If you are seeing this, it means the enemy is back. You were never supposed to forget what I did." Every soldier froze. The image on the main screen flickered into life. A girl sat in a command chair, maybe 15 years old. Behind her, old-style monitors glowed in a bunker. Her face was calm, her eyes sharp. The name burned on the corner of the image. Leah Carter. The crew stared. No one spoke. Ethan whispered, "What is this?" Before anyone could answer, the Vorn ships stopped firing. They held position. The air in the bridge felt heavy. The machines had frozen in space like statues. "Commander," said the tech officer, "they're not attacking. They're watching." The girl on the screen continued. "The war can't end until they remember. Tell them I kept my word." Then the signal cut. Silence filled the bridge. Every man looked to Ethan. His heartbeat felt loud in his ears. The Vorn fleet began to turn, slow and perfect, as if following some unseen command. Then they retreated, vanishing into the black. The humans didn't cheer. No one understood what just happened. Ethan turned to his second-in-command. "Who the hell is she?" No one answered. The records showed nothing. The name Leah Carter did not exist in any human database. Minutes later, the comms officer said, "Sir, incoming message from the Vorn flagship." Ethan nodded. "Put it through." The screen filled with static. A deep mechanical voice came through, broken but clear. "She should not exist again." The message ended. The fleet was gone. Only silence remained. The stars burned cold. Ethan stood there, staring at the empty void. The bridge lights flickered across his face. His mind felt like it was holding its breath. His officer said quietly, "What do we do now?" Ethan looked at the screen where the girl's face had been. "Find her." The engines roared to life again, shaking the deck. The crew began to move. Outside, the last fires of the battle faded under the shadow of Earth. Far away, deep in the ruins of the old world, something unseen powered on for the first time in centuries. The sound was soft at first, then growing. Machines waking up underground. Waiting. Ethan Cole didn't sleep. The image of the girl stayed in his mind. Her voice, her face, her words. He could not explain it, but it felt like she was looking straight at him through time. The Vorn had fled, yet his instincts told him the war was not over. It had only changed. Inside the carrier, the corridors smelled like metal and smoke. Crew worked without speaking. The wounded filled every corner. Ethan walked through the mess hall turned into a medical bay. blood and oil mixed on the floor. The ship groaned with every turn of its engines. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Parker, followed beside him. "Sir, Central Command wants a report. They said all Vorn ships withdrew to deep space." Ethan kept walking. "They're not gone. They're waiting." They reached the bridge. The main screen showed Earth. The blue surface was covered with scars, cities burning under thick clouds. Human command still broadcasted from the underground shelters beneath the old capitals. The communications officer called out, "Commander, priority message from High Command. Code Black." Ethan took the call in the comm room. A tired face appeared on screen. Admiral Stone, older than the war itself. "Cole, we received the same signal you did. That girl shouldn't exist. Her name was erased from history after War Zero. You are ordered to locate the source of that broadcast and destroy it." Ethan frowned. "Destroy it?" "Sir, she might be connected to the Vorn retreat." Stone's voice was cold. "Exactly. That's why she's dangerous. Find the bunker. End it before they return." The signal cut. Ethan stood silent. The air in the room felt heavier. He looked at Parker. "Prep a ground team. We're going to Earth." Hours later, their dropship cut through the gray clouds. The surface below was dead. Ash storms moved across broken cities. No life signs, no color, only ruins. They landed near what was once Colorado. Radar pointed to an underground structure buried under the mountain range. Old, pre-war steel, still giving off a weak power signal. Ethan led the team through the dust. Their boots crunched on cracked stone. The air was dry and cold. The mountain split open like a wound. They entered through a half-buried blast door. It took hours to cut through. Inside was silence. Long halls filled with rusted machines, screens covered in dust. The smell of old power cells burned their throats. Private Mills whispered, "Sir, this place is older than any of us." Ethan nodded. "Keep your helmets on. Check every corridor." They moved deeper, their flashlights cutting through the dark. The bunker stretched far underground. Signs on the walls carried symbols from the first Human-Vorn War, 2 centuries past. Then they reached a sealed chamber. Its walls were lined with faded warnings. One pod stood in the center of the room, covered in frost. The glass was fogged, but something moved inside. A tag read, "Subject LEA-01. Do not wake." The soldiers froze. Parker whispered, "It's her." Ethan walked closer. His pulse hammered. The power lines connected to the pod still glowed weakly. The machines hummed like a heartbeat. Command's order echoed in his head. Destroy it. But he could not. He placed his hand on the glass. Inside, a young face rested in cold sleep, the same face from the broadcast. "Sir," Parker said quietly, "what are your orders?" Ethan's voice was low. "We wake her." He reached for the manual release. The pod hissed, light spilling out. Steam filled the room. The machines roared back to life, power surging through the bunker. The floor trembled. The girl's eyes opened. Alarms started screaming. The walls shook. Outside in the dead skies above Earth, hidden satellites came alive for the first time in 200 years. The Vorn had seen the signal. The bunker shook as old systems powered on. Dust rained from the ceiling. The lights flickered to life, one by one, glowing with weak yellow light. The girl in the pod gasped for air, her eyes wide and confused. Her skin was pale, her breath short. Ethan stepped forward. "You're safe. You're with humans." Her gaze locked on him. "Humans?" Her voice was soft but steady. "You're still alive?" The soldiers surrounded her, rifles half raised. Parker said, "Sir, she's just a kid." Ethan looked closer. "No, she's something else." The girl's eyes darted to the walls. "How long has it been?" 200 years, Ethan said. "The war is back. The Vorn returned." She went still. Her face changed like she already knew. Then they broke the treaty. Ethan frowned. Treaty. She nodded slowly. I ended the First War by giving them a part of myself. I merged with their code. It stopped them. If they're here again, it means something woke me too soon. The team exchanged uneasy looks. Parker whispered, "She's connected to them." Ethan ignored him. "You said you merged with them. How?" Leah pointed at the machines around the room. This bunker held the link. My mind was copied into their network. Half human, half machine. It was the only way to make them stop fighting. I didn't die. I just split. Ethan took a step back. Then, waking you means, she cut him off. They'll come for me. As if on cue, the comms on Ethan's wrist came alive with static. A voice screamed from the carrier orbiting above. "Commander Cole, enemy ships detected. Thousands. They're descending. We can't stop them." The soldiers tensed. Ethan looked at Leah. "You brought them here." Her voice broke. "No, you did. When you opened the pod, the signal went out. They felt it." Parker raised his weapon. "Sir, we have to end this. She's the reason they're coming." Ethan turned, eyes sharp. "Lower your weapon." Parker didn't move. "She's not human, sir." Leah stepped back, hands shaking. "I can stop them again, but I need access to your system. Your fleet's core. It's the only way." Ethan stared at her. "You can't expect us to trust you." "I don't want trust. I want a chance to fix what I started." Outside, the ground began to shake. The sky flashed red through cracks in the mountain. The sound of engines filled the air. Vorn ships were entering atmosphere. The mountain shook like it would break apart. Ethan made his choice. "We take her back to the carrier." Parker's voice rose. "Sir, she's a weapon. Command said to destroy her." "Command isn't here. I am." Ethan grabbed Leah's arm and pulled her toward the exit. "Move out." The team ran through the tunnels as alarms screamed. Dust and smoke filled the air. The power surged through the walls, bright and violent. Outside, the sky was burning. Black metal ships dropped from orbit, cutting through clouds like blades. Ethan pushed Leah into the dropship. The engines roared. They lifted off just as the mountain exploded behind them. The bunker vanished in fire. From above, they saw the Vorn landing in waves, spreading across the ground like a swarm. Earth's defenses opened fire, missiles streaking through the smoke. The world burned again. Leah watched silently. Her face was blank, but her eyes were wet. "I can still hear them," she said. "They're calling my name." Ethan looked at her. "Then we better make them listen to ours." The ship broke through the clouds, heading back toward orbit. Behind them, the Earth's surface turned red. In space, the Vorn fleet began to form around the planet. Leah closed her eyes. "They won't stop this time unless I go back." Ethan's grip tightened on the controls. "Then I'll stop them before they take you." Her voice was low. "You can't stop what's already part of me." The dropship hit the deck of the carrier hard. The landing bay was chaos. Mechanics shouted, alarms wailed, and soldiers ran through smoke and sparks. The Vorn fleet had entered orbit, their black ships spreading like a storm. Ethan jumped out first, pulling Leah behind him. Her feet touched the metal floor and every nearby screen flickered. Systems glitched as she passed. She kept her head down, her expression tight. Parker ran beside them. "Command knows we found her. They're sending orders to take her into custody." Ethan didn't slow. "Ignore it." Parker grabbed his arm. "Sir, this is treason." Ethan turned, his face hard. "No, it's survival." He looked at Leah. "Can you stop them?" She hesitated. "If I can reach their queen core, but I need power and access to your network." Ethan nodded. "Then you'll get it." They reached the main command deck. Officers stared as Leah entered. Some stepped back. Others reached for sidearms. She ignored them all and moved straight to the central console. Her hands hovered over the controls. Lines of ancient code appeared on the screen, symbols no one had seen in centuries. The ship shook under heavy fire. Explosions echoed through the metal halls. Ethan shouted, "Shields up!" "They're already failing," an officer yelled. "We can't hold this position." Leah spoke quickly. "I can buy time, but I need a full link." Parker glared at her. "A link means she controls everything. She could kill us all." Ethan looked at Leah. "You won't, will you?" She met his eyes. "Not if you trust me." He hesitated, then gave the order. "Do it." Technicians connected the cables. The ship's lights dimmed. Leah's eyes glowed faintly as she linked with the system. Her voice changed, layered and cold. "I see them. I see all of them." The view screen filled with hundreds of Vorn ships moving in formation. "Their fleet is using an old command code. My code," she said. Parker's voice rose. "She's merging again. We have to shut her down." Ethan grabbed him by the collar. "Touch that system and I'll end you myself." Leah's body trembled as streams of data flowed through her. "I can reach their leader, but they know I'm here. They're sending ground units. They'll hit this ship soon." Ethan turned to the crew. "Arm every soldier. Seal the lower decks." The deck shook again. Red lights flashed. Enemy boarding pods hit the hull. The sound of metal tearing filled the ship. Ethan drew his weapon. "Hold the line." The blast doors opened as Vorn soldiers poured in, tall metal figures with glowing red cores. Gunfire lit the corridors. Sparks flew across the deck. Ethan and his team fought hard, moving through smoke and debris. Leah stayed connected. Her voice came through the ship's speakers. "I can disable some of them, but not all." Ethan shouted over the noise. "Then do what you can." The floor shook. The sound of explosions grew closer. One by one, human soldiers fell. The Vorn kept advancing. Parker ducked behind cover, firing wildly. Suddenly, Leah screamed. The screens cracked. Her body went rigid. The Link was fighting back. Ethan ran to her, bullets hitting the console beside him. "Leah, stay with me." Her eyes were distant. "They're inside. They found me." The ship's power surged. Lights burst. The gravity systems failed. Everyone floated for a second as alarms filled the air. Then everything went dark. Ethan opened his eyes to find smoke covering the deck. Parker was bleeding on the floor. The ship was silent except for the soft hum of backup power. Leah lay still beside the console. Her hand twitched. When she spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. "I stopped them for now, but they're learning. Next time they'll come faster." Ethan leaned close. "You did good." She looked up at him, eyes dim. "They saw you through me. Now they know your name." The ship drifted in silence. Smoke hung in the corridors like fog. Alarms blinked weakly, but no one moved to silence them. The crew worked in near darkness, patching wires, dragging bodies, trying to keep the carrier alive. Ethan Cole walked through the wreckage. His armor was scorched. His face was streaked with oil and blood. He passed broken screens showing the same image over and over. Earth under siege. The Vorn fleet had surrounded the planet again. The humans had no fleet left to fight. Leah sat against a console, weak but awake. Her skin was pale, her eyes dim. Wires still hung from her arms. She looked up when Ethan stopped beside her. "They're regrouping," she said quietly. "They've adapted to every defense I built. They'll hit us again in minutes." Ethan knelt beside her. "You said you could reach their queen." "I can, but if I do it, I won't come back." Ethan shook his head. "There has to be another way." She smiled faintly. "There isn't. When I ended the first war, I became part of them. To end this one, I have to finish it." Outside, the hull shuddered. Another impact. The lights flickered red. Parker limped into the room, holding his side. "Sir, we can't take another hit. Engines are dead. Command's gone silent. We're it." Ethan stood. Then we make this count." He looked at Leah. "Tell me what to do." She reached out her hand. "Link me to the main reactor. It's the only power strong enough to push the signal through." Parker stepped forward. "That'll overload the core. It'll kill everyone on board." Ethan met his eyes. "It's already over if we don't try." The room shook again. The floor split open in one corner. Fire burst from the ceiling. Ethan pulled Leah to her feet. "Move!" They reached the reactor chamber. The heat was unbearable. Sparks fell like rain. Engineers ran out as alarms screamed. Ethan guided Leah to the central terminal. She touched the panel. The machines responded instantly. Her voice changed again, sharp and layered. "I'm inside." The ship's systems came alive. Every screen lit up with Vorn code. The view outside showed the enemy fleet turning toward them, charging weapons. Ethan stood beside her, hand on his rifle. "You're not doing this alone." Leah looked at him, almost smiling. "You already helped. That's enough." Her eyes glowed brighter. The lights on the ship pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. The deck trembled under their feet. The Vorn fleet began to slow. Ethan shouted over the noise. "What's happening?" "They're hearing me," she said, "all of them." He could hear faint whispers through the ship's speakers, strange metallic voices repeating her name. The Vorn ships outside stopped moving completely. Energy built around the carrier, spreading like a wave. Leah's voice grew weaker. "When this ends, there will be silence. Don't let them rewrite it again." The light around her body turned white. The consoles melted from heat. Ethan shielded his face. The reactor exploded with sound and light that swallowed everything. Then there was quiet. When Ethan opened his eyes, the ship was floating above Earth. The stars were still. No fire, no movement. Every Vorn ship was dead, frozen in orbit. He stood slowly. The room was empty except for smoke and ash. Leah was gone. Only a faint handprint remained burned into the console. Parker limped in, coughing. "Sir, they're gone. All of them. Every machine. We did it." Ethan looked out the window. "No, she did." He turned and walked away as silent wrecks drifted in space. Years later, a new generation watched an old recording in a classroom. The image showed a young girl sitting in a bunker, eyes calm, voice steady. The teacher said, "This is Leah Carter, the girl who ended 2 wars." The students laughed softly, not believing. In the back of the room, an old man watched the screen in silence. Ethan Cole smiled once, just for her, then left the room without a word.